Well, another wet day. Bit of indoor activity today. This is a new hot water service I've bought. I'm going to Lithium, and this is the first part of the project. I'm going to do this first up. I've got a 50 litre hot water service on the boat at the moment. It's just a standard household hot water service, 240 volt. It does run a 3.6 kilowatt element, and when I go to Lithium I want to run the hot water service off the inverter. So 3.6 is a little bit big. This is a smaller hot water service. It only heats 15 litres of water, which is plenty for a couple of showers, but it's got quite a small element. The element's only 1.6 kilowatts, so that'll run off the inverter easily. But yeah, first job this morning, I've got to swap this hot water service out with the one that's down there. So it'll be a bit of a chore just getting down and getting organised, but it won't be too bad of a job. So let's do it.
Well, we don't wear skimpy bikinis. Hell, it frightens me when I take my shirt off. There's definitely no one pregnant here. This is motor sailing for old dudes. We do live on a boat, and we do cruise extensively along the Australian coast. Join us and visit some great destinations. Learn how to look after a boat and live off grid. It might even get you enthused to do the same thing. Hey, stay out there till you can't.
Okay, so that's the unit. It's all plastic, which is great on a boat. It's got a relief valve, water in, water out. The downside of this is the mounting bracket is quite light. It's quite a flimsy little mounting bracket. It's probably okay if you're going to mount it under a cupboard in a house, but on a boat where things do tend to move around a little bit, I'm going to need to mount it a little bit more solidly than that. So I will use that, but I'm going to make a shelf underneath this unit that it sits on, and then I'll put some straps around it to hold it back against the bulkhead wall. So that's the only downside of this one, is the mounting is quite light. Anyhow, let's clear the locker out first and get ready to get the old hot water service out and get this one in. So there's the compartment I'm going to put it in, and first thing I've got to do is get down in there and make a little bit of room so I can do the job. apart from storing tools and a few other things, this is my rum storage locker as well. So I've got quite a bit of rum that I have to get out of the way. It's down here aging. I like to age my rum after I've made it. So this is the old hot water service. I've turned the power off to it last night. I've got to disconnect the plumbing from here and here, disconnect the 240, and then I've just got to take a bracket. There's a bracket on the top of it, so there's a bracket up in here I've got to take off, and then I can just rock that out. So the first thing I have to do though is get the water out of it, and that's the big job. So I think probably what I'm going to do is take this hose off here, and I can't, I've got to get it out of down the bottom there, so I can't get it out through that hose. That's a non-return valve. So I might have to take that out and put another hose on it, and the idea is just to drain it out into a bucket or something and get it overboard, because this got 50 litres of water in it, so that's got to be removed before I do anything else. Just a 12 volt wire to my second water pump down here. This is just a water pump that gives me a bit of redundancy. Numerous ways of getting the water out of this hot water service. There's 50 litres in there, but in the end I decided I'm just going to drop it into the bilge and then bucket it out. Probably the easiest way. This is the hard bit, getting the old tank out. Bit of a chore for an old dude. Anyway, it's out. It's the hard bit. The new tank's a lot lighter. Just a matter of getting down there and giving it a big clean up before I put nothing else back in now. Bit of cleaning up. That's where the old baits for the cistern used to sit. And I'm going to hit it with the Rippet. It's a pretty good product this, we'll just see how it goes, eh? This is really good stuff. Look at it just pull all those stains off. It's fantastic. I don't think you do it with anything else. got the bracket mounted on the wall now, on the bulkhead, so that's good. I'm just going to get the heater in now. Got it. Well, that's nice and neat, eh? That's hanging on the wall. It's going to need a bit better fixing than what it's hanging on, that's for sure. I think I'm going to screw that little stool in there just to support the bottom of it. Make good sense in the boat, I think. Says we need a non-return valve on the water inlet, so I'll put one on. If you're using a non-return valve, and I don't know if you can see it, but so the arrow, I don't know if you can see the arrow on that. That arrow tells you what direction it's got to flow, so it's got to come in through the barb and then into the tank. So I was just putting that fitting on the wrong side. So I'll do it again. Lucky I didn't leave it till it locked up, because it's really hard to get undone when this stuff sets off. It really does lock up pretty tight. So that's right now, that's in, yep. So that's the way we want it. Always a good idea to blow through them, and that's the way the water's going to run in. What this valve does, it just stops hot water getting back down your cold water taps. So as the water in the tank heats, it expands a bit, and if you don't put this in, it can push a bit of hot water back up your cold water line. So when you turn a cold tap on, you might find you're getting warm water. Okay, so that now it's got to go on the inlet side of the tank. So water will come in through my water system in a pot down through a hose. I'll put a hose on there, that'll be from my water pump, through the one-way valve into the tank. So when you're putting it onto the system, the blue, the one that's marked with the blue collar, is the cold water in. The red one, of course, is the hot water coming out. When you're putting hoses on, it always makes it easier if you heat them up a little bit, makes them a bit more flexible. Doesn't really matter with the rubber or plastic hoses, just getting that little bit of heat in makes it a lot easier to push them over hose barbs and things like that. Well, this job's nearly finished. Running down to the hot and cold water systems on the boat, and another line running to the safety valve discharge. So it's all sitting in there pretty nicely. I think all I'm going to do is put a strap around the middle of the tank and hold it against that bulkhead. If I do that, it's not going to go anywhere. So the finished job, a couple of straps around it to just keep it stable in any sort of sea conditions, and that's a pretty good installation, I think.
Well, that's the job done. We've gone from a 50 litre storage hot water service to a 15 litre storage hot water service. It was a bit of a chore, but we're done now. I've just switched it on. Hopefully I'll get a shower tonight. I think it's probably going to work well. For one, I can drive this element by the inverter, so it will mean that I don't have to run the genset to make hot water. And the other thing is, we were heating up 50 litres of hot water, which is a bit of a waste, because when you're on a boat you don't tend to use that much hot water at one hit. Usually there's only two of us on the boat, and we can honestly shower in probably about 5 or 6 litres. You're not really concerned about the hot water, but you're always concerned about how much water you're consuming. So showers tend to be pretty quick when you're on the boat. It is nice to get into a marina and know you've got water beside the boat and have a long hot shower, but when you're out cruising you do tend to conserve water by having very short showers. So I think 15 litres will be plenty for us, taking a bit of weight off the boat as well. And yeah, it was just a thing that I had to do anyway to make the inverter able to handle it. Anyway, job's done, and I'm off for a shower. Well dudes, it was a pretty big day. I started at 7 o'clock and it's quarter to 6. I just turned the new hot water service on, and hopefully in 15 minutes or so I'll be able to have a hot shower. I hope so anyway. Been a pretty big day. I think I'll have a shower and go to bed. I'm not even going to worry about din-dins tonight. Always hard work getting down in that, you know, you're sort of tucked up in a position, you can't really stand and do anything at all, so always hard working down in the confined space of a hull. But anyway, job's done. All I've got to do is put all the stuff back down there, maybe tomorrow. But off to the boat show tomorrow, so that should be interesting. I'll show you around there.